Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I'm feeling really bright today because I'm sitting right in front of my window and it's really bright, and also I'm wearing a pretty dress that my mom got me, so shout out to my mom for this beautiful dress. It's like tie-dye and it's just so beautiful. All right, where do we start? Today I'm going to be talking about how to get your driver's license as an international student in the US. I've talked about, like, you know, how to get a car, or like not how to get a car per se, but like saving to get a car. And I mean, how do you drive a car that you get if you don't have a license? So yeah, I'm gonna talk about how to get a driver's license in the state. So first of all, I would say that every state actually has different rules when it comes to getting a driver's license. There are a lot of similarities, some are the same, but you still have to look at what each state requires to know what you need to do. You can't just think that they're all the same. With that being said, a lot of states kind of go through this process of first you have to get a learner's permit and have that for a couple of months, earn certain hours of driving experience before you can proceed to apply for an actual driver's license. While some other states, depending on several factors such as your age and also if you've had a license in another country, they would kind of maybe waive certain steps in the process. So maybe you don't have to hold a learner's permit, you can just take the necessary test and go on to apply for a driver's license. So it just kind of depends on your state, and that's why you need to know what your state requires to know what you need to do. So yeah, the first thing I would recommend as an international student trying to get a license is to go to your school's international student office and tell them that you're trying to get a driver's license in the States. The reason it's good to try that first is that a lot of times your school might offer different services like you know, transportation, or helping you book appointments, help you with forms that you need to fill for your driver's license application. So they will have like already all the process lined up because they've had students do it over and over again, so they can make it actually easier for you. They might even have connections with the driver's license office where it's like they just direct you to a particular person that would kind of guide you and all that. So it's good to try that first. However, I know that some schools international students office like may not be too involved in things that students need help with, so in that case you might have to do it yourself, and usually it's not difficult, it's something you can do yourself. The other option would be to go by yourself to the driver's license website or the motor vehicle department website of your country, of your state rather. So basically all you have to do is Google something like international students driver's license in so state, wherever state you are, and then you can go there to see like the list of requirements, the things that you need to have, and the steps that you need to take to begin the application process. One thing I would definitely recommend is to do this like way beforehand. Don't wait till like the year you want to get your license to start looking into all this, because a lot of times those things might need years, maybe not years, but like they might need time for you to kind of prepare yourself if you're not as prepared. So for example, if you're the kind of person that don't know how to drive at all and your state requires you to have proof of driving hours and things like that, then you want to start planning that. Start planning with who's going to teach you how to drive and things like that. You don't want to wait till last minute before you start doing all that when you want to get your license. So kind of, you know, when you move to the States and things like that, start looking into it, familiarize yourself with the process, kind of start reading the driver's manual, things like that, so that you kind of know how much time you need to get into the process. Then what else again? So yeah, you can go to the website, you can also go to the office in person. So if you Google maybe the nearest driver's license office like next to you in your state, every county or like city has their own like branch that you can go to in person and ask for all the things that you need to do, and you tell them that you're an international student. Now in this case they might refer you back to their website. A lot of times they often do that, but at least if you're the kind of person that you just don't feel comfortable doing everything online, you can go in person and see what they have to say. And also you can compare that doing it by yourself and doing it through your school, because sometimes your school might make the process more complicated, or the driver's license office might make the process more complicated, even though the end result is kind of the same thing. There are cases like that. So just kind of see which one yields the, I guess, most convenient and understanding result for you. At the end of the day, this is something that you can do by yourself. It's not something crazy. It's a process that you can carry out by yourself. I thought it would be helpful to go over the list of documents or like requirements that you would often find on websites. Even though they're all different, they often have the same requirements for international students when it comes to driver's license, so you kind of have an idea beforehand. So first, for sure, you always need your passport. Usually they would ask for your passport with the page that has your visa stamp on it. If you have another passport that's like the newer one but doesn't have the stamp, it's always good to go with both, just in case. You never know which one would be required for the documentation purposes. A lot of times you would be asked to have your I-20 because it proves, you know, your status as a student. Also, they might ask you to bring your student ID card just to prove that you're a student. Then another thing that's often required is proof of residency in that state, because your driver's license is a form of identification and they want to see that you actually live in that state before they give you a form of identification representing the state. So this could be an utility bill, this could be a phone bill, a mail that you received with your name addressed, like there the mail is addressed to you and your location where you live in that state. It could also be a lease agreement that you signed for where you live. So any of these things, they would tell you which of them, you know, would be best. And also they would tell you like, okay, we only need it to be like within 60 days. It can be like a mail that you received like a year ago, stuff like that. So they would kind of tell you the specific requirements for those proof of residence. Another thing that you would often find them talk about is your previous driver's license from another country. So if you're from another country and you never know, you can look this online too. Some countries have certain agreements with like the US, whereby if you have your license from that country, you're able to kind of waive certain requirements. Just make sure that you let them know that you have a driver's license from your previous country if you have one. I'll make another video going into more details about, like, I guess my experience with transferring my Nigerian driver's license to the US driver's license, because I had a Nigerian driver's license before I came here, so it actually can make the process easier for you. Another thing that you would often see them talk about is your I-94 card. The I-94 card is a proof of legal entry into the US. So the I-94 card is something that you have to obtain online by yourself. It's easy, it's free. You can just Google obtain my I-94 for international students, and it will lead you to a website where it would ask you for your passport number and certain information, you know, just a couple of information about yourself, like your name, your date of birth, or whatever else that they ask for, and it would just show you the form. And usually, or that the document, usually the document shows the day that you entered the US, and if you've entered the US and left multiple times, it all usually has that in the record, and so that just shows that you entered legally. And it's just another form that usually they ask for getting your driver's license. Some states may not ask for it, but I think with my experience in 2 different states, they've asked for it, and so you might encounter that. You would also be asked for a social security card or a letter of ineligibility. So a social security card or number, usually you would only get that if you work or have worked in the United States, even as a student. So maybe if you've worked on campus and you've been paid, you would have gotten a social security number. However, if you don't have one and you can't get one because you're not working, then you can get an ineligibility letter, which usually you have to go through the social security office to get that. If you look online is where everything is at. You can Google the nearest social security office near you and go in there and tell them that you want to apply for an ineligibility letter, and they'll ask you to fill out forms and whatnot to get the letter. According to what I've seen, it takes about a month or so to come. It might be earlier. So you want to kind of start this process beforehand so that you have everything you need. You can also go to your international students office, like I said, for a lot of things. So like with the social security letter, you can go to the international student office to ask how to get one. They might be able to help you without you having to like necessarily go to the social security office and stuff like that. So try your options. Another thing that's often required is like a clearance or compliance form from your designated school official. That's for international student. Usually this is a form that the school would provide to you, saying that you are registered as a student, you're full-time, whatever, part-time, whatever your status is, and that you're eligible to do things legally, pretty much. So these are all just things to prove that you're in the States legally. Basically, these are some of the documents that came to mind when I was putting this video together. But if on the website you see other things that you need to submit, then make sure to get them so that you're able to make the process go smoothly. The good thing is that the states doesn't have a well, I mean, I know some states have a graduated licensing procedure where it's like you have to go from one to the other, but like it's still better. Like my experience has been better compared to what I've seen in Canada. Like for me, thankfully, I didn't have to deal with that because I was able to transfer my US license to Canada, so that was pretty easy. But if I didn't have one and I was going to start from scratch in Canada, like it takes a while to get the full license that allows you to do whatever, because you have to go from one type to another type to another type, and like two or three different steps. I don't know, let me not say what I don't know, but basically it's really like strict when it comes to getting your full driver's license. The US, I know you have to do like the permit a lot of times, but like the permit is still just a permit. Like it kind of goes well most times, but when it comes to the Canadian process, it's stricter. So like I said, definitely start this process beforehand, or like familiarize yourself with the process beforehand. You can speak to people that have gotten their licenses as international student. They may be able to put you through. Talk to friends, that also helps, so that you kind of don't really make mistakes if you don't have to, right? If you have somebody there, you don't have to make those mistakes that they might have made. And also when it comes to like preparing for your test and stuff, make sure you read that manual like 2 times. I really think that, I mean, it's usually not hard, you know, it's like when you read it, you get it, but you might forget information. So if you read it like 2 times, it kind of sticks, and then you're able to just pass easily. But also some people just do it once, like read it once, and they're good to go. So whatever, just make sure that you read it and prepare well for your driving test and pass it and be fully licensed. I think that that's all I have to say for this video. If you have any questions concerning this process, put it in the comment section below. I'll be happy to answer your questions. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video.